Something you do every single day at work, whatever role you might have in work, something you do every day is you make decisions. Now, the best decisions that you can make are the decisions that are backed up and supported with by research, by spending time researching what you need to know in order to make the best decision. Too many times in business, we don't allow enough time to plan, we just want to implement. The first step in planning our decision is research. And today, I'm going to give you 3 examples of research you should be doing prior to making a decision. Welcome everybody to JTInTheRaw, JTInTheRaw show 254. Good morning, Jamie. Hope you are doing well. It's great to be here, same time every single week. This is where I chew the thin on business, and after 32 years in business, I have just a few things to chew. And this week's show is completely and utterly in response to what I have seen this week. For example, I have just got off a Zoom call, an early morning Zoom call with Clearview in the United States. Clearview is a research company, and we've been working with them in a global effort to work out how to get more people moving and moving more often. It's part of an initiative done by URSA, and we have been working with this research company. And the more we spoke, the more we talked, the more I realized just how much we do not know about people who don't come to gyms. How much we don't know about people who do go to gyms. And how much we don't know about people who went to gyms and don't go to gyms. But the concept of the conversation was around research and what that research can actually deliver us. Fascinating conversation. But the bottom line, the foundation to making decisions is research. So, that's what today's topic is all about. And I want to give you 3 examples of where we can research and what we can do. Okay, the first one, not surprising. The place that most people are doing their research is right where you are now, on your device, on the internet. Does that work? Is that a good way? Is that a bad way? You know, there are plenty of people that research whether they've got some sort of terminal disease by going to Dr. Google, and really they've just got a cold or they've got a virus. So the internet is a great place to start your research process. It'll give you an overview. But sometimes one of the things that we need to know when we research is, what is the question? What is the question that we need to ask in order to research? So my question is, if you don't know what that question is, you can't put it into Google, therefore you can't research. So for want of a better description, it's one-way research. It's you doing your research. Not to mention, you can't believe everything you see on the internet. Just saying, you can't believe everything that goes on the internet. So, number 1 way of doing some initial research will be diving in to the internet. Great space. Number 2, and perhaps 2 and 3, no real order. Doesn't really matter. But number 2 is having conversations with your peers. People who are in the same field as you. People who are in a similar field with you. People who, now they may not be both selling widgets, but you're both trying to sell to the consumer. Research starts with having conversations with your peers. Yesterday, on one of our Rex Roundtables, this is what we spend a lot of time on at Rex Roundtables, is having conversations, allowing owners to research why or how or if they should make a certain decision in their business. Conversations. I've talked about this before on a JTInTheRaw. When you bring a group of people together and you're having a conversation about a decision, people see it from different perspectives. The power of that conversation will enable you to make the best decision. So the second step in your research is about getting with your peers and having a conversation. Okay, now, in that, I want to go one step further because I think there's a weakness in that conversation, and that's this. You must have a very clear brief of what research you're trying to gain. What are you trying to garnish from the conversation from your peers? So be super clear, have a clearer brief or a clear agenda of what that might look like. That will truly benefit you when you're coming up to finding the information. Okay, number 3, more scientific. A more scientific research component is looking at surveys. Let me be open, honest, transparent. I'm terrible at writing surveys. It requires a certain skill to write a survey so that you don't get the answer that you actually want. But surveys are a really great way of doing research. Now, those surveys could be simple one-to-one conversations with your customers. You know, I was having an example when we were talking to Clearview this morning about research, and it was like, well, if I want to change my group fitness timetable, I might talk to 3 or 4 of the group fitness members to get their view on what those changes might look like or what changes they would like to see. If we're looking at relocating, if we're going to move our physio practice from here down the road 5 kilometres, we would do our research. And there's scientific research. We could be asking our customers, would they actually come that distance, that extra 5 kilometres? The research that we could be doing could be looking at the demographics of that location. It could be a whole bunch of different stuff that we can do that's scientific. Now, for me, scientific kind of goes black and white. It's kind of real or it's not real. Of course, what we've seen with COVID is that science can be spun any way we like. But for us to make good decisions, it really has to come back to knowing our brief and then doing the research by one-on-one conversations. The other example that I want to give you around surveys is this one. I was talking to some clients this week, and we talked about First Break All the Rules. It's a great book written by Marcus Buckingham, fantastic book. And in that book, they've identified 13 questions that we should be asking our staff. Now, in the crazy world that we live in now, whether you're in England and you're just waking or going to bed with 50,000 or 30,000 cases of COVID and people not sure whether they're going to work from home or where they're working at work, who knows where they're working, or whether you're in the United States and you've got mask mandates, or whether you're in Australia and you are locked into your house and today you're going to go for a long walk from your lounge room to your dining room. Wherever you are located, from a work perspective, as a leader of your team, you want to know how they're feeling. You want to know what they're up to, what's hitting their hot buttons, where you're missing. The 13 questions in First Break All the Rules is a terrific place to research how your team are feeling. How your team are feeling. When you know how your team are feeling, you can then work out what to do next. Whether it is Friday night Zoom call drinks, whether it is doing an escape room exercise on Zoom, whether it is sending them pizzas to their house on Saturday night, whatever the case may be, when you've done the research on how your team are feeling, it will impact the decisions you make. Too many times in business, we narrow the window between the idea and the action. We don't actually think enough about that. And so my challenge for you as a leader is to make that window a little bit wider, give yourself more time to do the research part before the action part. When you do that research part, that means the action will have greater impact, a greater benefit, a greater result. Or it will in fact enable you by that action to potentially not do that action and stall and redesign. So research is critical. Those three things again: surf the internet, but beware. Beware, when you surf the internet, you must know what you're looking for, and you'll probably find somewhere online someone will agree with whatever the decision you are wanting to make. You've got to take it with a grain of salt, but it's a good place to start. Number 2, have conversations with your peers. Have conversations with people. Do your research with people that you trust and ask them what they think. Is that good value? Would I get a great impact in my business for that? Is there another option? Have those conversations with people. And number 3, more scientific approach. Use surveys. Talk to your customers, talk to your people, and find out what they're thinking and what they're feeling. That will help impact you to make the right decision. So, those 3, research starts with the internet, peers, and more scientific, having conversations through surveys with people. I hope this gives you some sort of insight into better decision making. It's not the be all and end all, but it's what I saw this week firsthand with people that I work with on how they're making better decisions as leaders in their business, as leaders in their departments. They're doing research. They've allowed time to do the research to come up with a better decision. I hope you do too. If you got any value out of today's show, please hit the share button wherever it may be. I don't even know where it is, on whatever device you are watching. Or if you know somebody that could get benefit out of this show, please tag them in the comments. Just that little @ symbol and then their name, and that'll tag them in the comments below. And hopefully they can watch the show and improve their decision making as well. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, whether you're watching live or on replay, hit me up with a love heart anytime during the show. And I'll catch you next week. Catch you on the flip side.